Croeso, welcome to round one, game one of the Alamein Attrition Campaign. So there's going to be 2 games each round. So this is going to be me versus Richard, me playing as the Afrika Korp and Richard playing as British. So we're really looking forward to this mission. Well, we've already played it, but we were looking forward to it when we played it, and it is an interesting game. And we'll warn, this battle report will contain images that may upset some viewers, so we'll leave it like that. So let's go into the lists. Okay, so here we have my Afrika force today. So here is the first formation, and that is the Afrika Rifles. So we have a HQ of 2 SMG teams. We then have first platoon, which is 4 rifle MG teams, a MG team and a anti-tank team, and basically these guys have got sticky bombs, pioneers and some soft skin. Then we have second platoon, which are also pioneers with sticky bombs, and again same load up as first platoon. We then have third platoon, who are not pioneers and do not have sticky bombs, and they are the same as the first 2, but they have an 8cm mortar along as well. Still in the formation, we have 3 captured 6-pounders, and that is it. So now we're on to support. So we have a mixed Panzer III platoon, so that is 2 up-armoured Panzer III, so long 5cm with up armour, and then just a regular one with a short 5cm. We have 3 7.62cm anti-tank guns, 4 Marders and 2 heavy scouts. And then we have a plethora of command cards, which you will see in the list. So quite a few. Well, one of them won't really do anything today, which is fortify the building, since there will be no buildings in today's map. And I guess the rest is just filling out the points for the force, and losing these command cards in the terms of the campaign shouldn't be too costly for me today. Okay, so for Richard and his British, he has 2 formations. So he has a Valentine squadron. So we have 3 Valentine 2s in the HQ, and then we have 3 troops of Valentines. Each troop consists of 2 Valentines 2s and a Valentine 8, so that's with the 6-pounder. We then have a second formation of Anzac Rifle Company. So we have a HQ of 2 teams, and then we have 2 platoons of just 5 rifle teams, and they have their little 2-inch mortar and the Mighty Boys anti-tank rifle. Still in formation, we have the 3-inch mortars and 3 universal carriers, and that's a unit of 4 3-inches. In support, we have 4 25-pounders and some Kitty Hawks. So the only command card for these guys is the Anzac Rifle Company. So we've seen the lists, now let's look at the table. Okay, so here is today's table, quite sparse being the desert as usual. We have this side of the table with a mixture of dunes and then nothing in the middle, so we class this open area here as you're able to do a road dash because it's nice and compacted. We have some scrub here over in the left corner, so that will be some short terrain. We have a ridge line, and then we have some rocky ground, so stationary infantry units in here will have bulletproof cover. And that is it, and it'll also be hard going, it'll be cross checks for tanks, and this one will be blocking line of sight. So there we go, there's the table. So it's roll off now as there's a meeting engagement, and with Captain Cautious, which is Richard, this one could take a while. Okay, so Captain Cautious has arrived and we are deployed. So it ended up, he's coming from this side and I'm defending this side. So we had a few spearheads. Luckily, by the time the UCs were deployed, my 7.62cm guns weren't here, so he was able to do it, and luckily I am concealed by the ridge, so I'm able to go there, and we're more than 8 inches away. So over in this corner I have my heavy scouts, which gave me my spearheads, so that put the 7.62s on the ridge with the Panzer IIIs behind. I then have my second platoon holding this objective. Over here I have the HQ
with 3rd Platoon and their mortar. I have the captured 6-pounders on this dune, and then I have 1st Platoon over here with the Marders hidden behind the ridge. Over yonder we have a Valentine troop and the HQs. We have a platoon of infantry and the 25-pounders. In the middle of the ridge we have the mortars and another unit of Valentines. Over here we have the Universal Carriers, another unit of Valentines, and then we have another platoon with the HQ along with them. Yeah. So, being in a meeting engagement, good luck. We have to roll, and whoever is the highest is the going first. One. A 2.
Strong start.
Yeah, so I get to draw a battle deck card before we do anything, so let's see if we get anything interesting. Okay, my movement, I got a decent battle deck card, but we're going to save that for later. My Panzer IIIs here failed their blitz move. I wanted to do some stuff with them, so instead I just tucked them into cover a little bit more. The heavy scouts have moved onto the ridge. Of course, everything is counted as moving anyway, but might be able to pick off a couple of UCs this turn, and I'll call that nice, and some of these 7.62s can see the Valentines. So there's not much stuff. The Marders are going to remain stationary because even if I do pass a blitz, they're only going to have 1 shot each. So I might as well keep gone to ground for now. So we go into the shooting. No artillery because I can't fire it, but I only have 1 anyway. So let's see if I can do it. So I scored 2 hits with the heavy scouts on the UCs. 1 got bounced, 1 went through and got converted to a hit. The 7.62s split their shots, so 1 went for the UCs because I couldn't see the Valentines, the other 2 went for the open one, with one of them being able to spread here. But I missed all those shots, unfortunately. Obviously only having 1 shot each, but I thought I would at least get something. So that concludes my turn. So now we go into British turn 1. Okay, British movement, also the motivation step as well, no aircraft coming in yet, and I don't know what battle deck card Richard's got, but I'm sure it's going to be nice. For movement, Valentines and UCs have gone hidden behind these rocks, while the other 2 troops of Valentines are making their way over to the centre of the table. So I feel Captain Cautious is going to be going down an artillery route this turn and subsequent turns, which I really won't be able to answer with. So, artillery step, shall we call it? Right, shooting phase, and we found out what card Richard drew, and he drew Regimental Artillery, which means with a legal spotter he's able to call in an artillery barrage once this turn from a artillery unit within the regiment. So which was another 25-pounder battery. So basically 2 25-pounder batteries ranged in here and the mortars ranged in. Both 25-pounders ranged in first time, and basically my guns are pinned, didn't lose any though, and my scout car is bailed out. So not too bad, but the regimental artillery is gone now, which is great. So we're going into German turn 2. Okay, in my motivation step, I used one of my battle deck cards, which was Blessing of the Führer. Basically, I automatically get a 4+, but I have to do it before I roll dice. So it's basically make your own luck that the Russians have. And I used that to rally my 7.62s. I failed to get in my scout car, but I passed the last stand. So that is my motivation step, and now we're going into my movement. Okay, German movement. One of my scout cars has moved off the hill, so he's not under the template. Panzer IIIs have just done a tactical move to here. My HQ has done a cross-country dash and a follow me. Not quite in reroll range yet, but you'll get there. And the Marders, most importantly, did a successful blitz move on top of the hill. So we have some shooting this phase, which will be nice. Okay, so I started my shooting with a ranged in over here, which captures quite a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, I didn't hit anything because I ranged in on 2nd attempt, but it's there now. My Marders managed to kill and bail one of the Valentine troops, and then the 7.62s managed to kill the 6-pounder, a 2-pounder, and bail the other remaining 2. and that's quite good. And then my heavy scout failed to hit the HQ. And that is it for my turn, so now we go into British turn 2. Okay, so dissension in the ranks. The Valentine failed to get in, even with the HQ squawking in his radio, and then they run away. So that's a Valentine troop gone. And although the unit leader got in, all he did it to drive away, basically. So the Valentines are down to 2 troops already, which is very difficult. And aircraft are coming in though. Richard's got another battlefield card, which I don't know where it is, so surely it's going to be good. So we're going into British movement, and these Valentines really need to wrap themselves around some cover at the moment. I have famously said, taking out all these Valentines, that this has added about 10 turns to the game with Captain Cautious being here. So these Valentines here have done a dash and a follow me to hide. So yes, there we go, and that is all the British movement, so everything is where it was. Or they've swiveled some turrets around, just in case. So now we go into the artillery step again. Artillery phase have pinned me again, but I'm somehow passing a lot of saves, and the one I failed, Richard failed to capitalise on. But the Kitty Hawks managed to score 3 hits, and then resulted in, I rolled 3 1s and a 6, and then he converted 1 to a kill, so we've got 2 bailed Marders here, so hopefully I can get one of them back in, otherwise I'm on last stand town. I don't want that to happen yet. So we're going into German turn 3. Okay, German startup step. I have drawn Experience Commander, which means I get to have 5 battle deck cards in my hand instead of 3, which what we use. And every time I draw 2, and I pick one, and then the other one goes to the bottom. And I get to play it immediately, and because I played it immediately, I draw a new card. And we have a Sandstorm has come in. So we have these red cards, which are basically weather, and when they come in, we have to play it. So basically, the Sandstorm is in effect until the start of my next turn. So basically, it's night fighting, which is going to be great since I got these guys on the ropes here. So now everything's +1 harder to hit, but I want my mortars already ranged in, so I'll call that useful, I guess. So we're going into German movement. Movement is complete for me. So my Marders have done a terrain dash. One, because they're on the terrain and you can't move faster than terrain at night anyway, because there's sand blinding them. And they did a follow me to here. My 3rd platoon is moving up all but the mortar. On the hill, basically the HQ has moved behind, and one of my scout cars has dropped back, so you can have the ability of the rerolls. And my Panzer IIIs have moved up tactical, and then with a follow me, just to put the rock in between them and the Valentines. So that is it for movement. So now essentially, yes, it is the artillery phase. I will try a few pot shots with my guns, but will I get anything? We'll be lucky if I do. Okay, so this gem of a single mortar team, my sole artillery unit, has managed to bag himself a 25-pounder and 2 rifle teams.
In one turn?
In one turn. Made up for not hitting anything last turn. With all my other shooting, so it's a bit of a grey area, because normally you have the muzzle flashes, so they did fire last turn, so we count them as I can not have to roll night firing, which didn't matter because I didn't hit anyone. So the 6-pounders tried to go for the 25s, needing 8s, and then the 7.62s tried to go for the mortars, needing 7s, and got no additional hits. So that is my turn concluded, and now we're going into British turn 3. British motivation, so obviously no aircraft because night fighting and sandstorm. 25-pounders have failed to rally, and the Anzacs though have. So there we go. So we're going into British movement. Okay, British movement. Richard, uncharacteristically, is moving quite a lot. So going from left to right, the Australian infantry, or Anzac infantry, sorry, are moving up forward. The Valentines are continuing their way over to this side of the board. UCs are getting out of the way. and that is it. So now we go into the shooting phase. Okay, so only thing I fired for the British were the 3-inch mortars and 1 hit, and I rolled save even with the reroll. They did hit the heavy scout, but the top armour of 0 is apparently too much. So British artillery, what's that?
Useless.
Unfortunately. So now we're going into German turn 4. Okay, so motivation phase, I passed everything, the Marder's back, and these guys are fully operational, and the Sandstorm was whittled away. I have a fairly decent command card, not command card, a battle deck card, so now we're going into German movement. Okay, German movement. These infantry have moved forward to get into range of the mortars. The heavy machine gun remained still, anti-tank gun moving up with them. First platoon's moved onto the ridge, apart from the heavy machine gun, which has moved to the side. Marders are moving tactical to here, and then there's been a little bit of rejig with the Panzer IIIs moving to here and the heavy scouts trying to get in on the universal carriers. And that is it for my movement, so now we'll go into shooting again. Okay, so shooting step. My 8cm mortar has killed another 25 pounder and has pinned the Anzac platoon again. No kills on them. The 8cm mortars are also pinned, combination of 3rd platoon and the 7.62cm guns. Marders did nothing. The UCs are down to 1 bailed out, and that is it. So we have British turn 4. British turn 4. 8cm mortars have not rallied. 25 pounders have not rallied. Anzacs have rallied, but they do anyway, always. And the universal carrier has run away. No battle deck card yet from Richard. As I said to him, I'm riding my luck, but my luck always tends to swing at some point in the game, so I'll just ride it as long as I can. So we have British movement. Okay, British movement. Both sets of Valentines remaining have done blitz moves to get them into where they need to be. So the 6 pounder being quite scary. I'm on 2 shots now. It's going to be nasty. And the only other movement other than your little blitzes are the Australian infantry, Anzac infantry, sorry, we don't know their nationality, have moved back. And most importantly this time have stayed outside of the template. So there we have British movement, and now we have no artillery phase, because all the artillery are pinned, so we're going straight up into shooting. Which there is no artillery phase, by the way, so it's just shooting phase. Okay, British shooting has managed to kill my 5cm Panzer III, and that was the 6 pounder doing that. The other Valentines missed completely on the scouts, and then when the 25 pounders have bailed, firepower for Richard today has been terrible. But you're being punished because you're not being captain cautious today. So we're going into German turn 5. German motivation, Marders have got back in. I have no other, and my battle deck card is aircraft. So I automatically get aircraft from my regiment list. So luckily there are Stukas in the regiment list, and they are turning up over here. No AA to stop me. So we're going into German movement, and this is like really going my way at the moment. It's quite interesting. Right, German movement. I'm going against what you're telling me to do, Tom. I'm not sitting back anymore. So these guys are moving forward. Very tempted to bring in the soft skins, but I feel they have a better chance of survival doing it this way. Marders moved up tactical, keeping the short terrain between them and the 25s. These guys remain stationary because they're already in range. Heavy scouts have moved between cover because they might need it. And that is my movement. So it's all down to shooting. Hopefully things go my way. Which I have. I can't complain about that. So
Well played, though.
well, we'll see how they do. We'll see how they do. So German shooting.
They're scary.
Okay, so Stuka's ranged in first attempt. Got a couple of hits, so the Anzacs are pinned again, but I got no kills. Marders fired at the 25 pounders, no hits. I got 3 hits on the mortars, but no kills. and I killed one of the Valentine 2s and bailed the rest, and I double bailed the 6-pounder, but unfortunately didn't get it. So I did a shoot and scoot, and I moved my Panzer 3s into cover. So it all depends whether these run away. And also you might think, oh, I could have fired at these, but I wouldn't have hit them anyway, so it's not that bad. So we are going into British turn 5. Okay, so the only one who got back in was the 6-pounder, but they did not run. The Anzacs over here did not rally, and the 25s did not rally, and the mortars have, and aircraft are coming in. And what we've done as well, Richard has discarded one of his battle deck cards, so he was able to draw another one, because you can't draw if you have 3 in your hand. So that has happened, so we are into British movement. Okay, so with this guy back in, he's going to remain stationary. The other Valentines are moving back around, and the Anzacs over here failed to dig in, so they'll just go to ground, and this is where the Kitty Hawks again after the Marders. The only 4 Marders we have in the regiment, may have to buy them back. So here we go into the shooting phase, and Richard has artillery back. Okay, so the Kitty Hawks only managed to bail one of the Marders out of 5 hits, and then the 25-pounders directed onto the one to get a kill. The 6-pounder missed his shots and then failed to do a shoot and scoot, and the 3-inch mortars have finally managed to kill a 7.62 gun. So I'm losing my AT-12, and hopefully I can do enough next turn that I won't need them. So we're going into German turn 6. Okay, sorry Tom, I've lost my Marders, but I think they've done enough. They took out 1 troop of Valentines, and they've picked off a few things here and there. Oh yeah, they killed the other 2 as well, or something else, but either way, I'm happy with them. And these guys have rallied thanks to the HQ, so I got some moving around to do, and we'll see if I can finally get rid of this Valentine formation. Yeah. Okay, so these guys have moved forward and failed their follow me, but it was okay because I'm out anyway. First platoon are making their way over this way. Marders are gone. And over here, one of the Panzer 3s have moved just so you can get shots on the Valentines. And HQ and this platoon are moving up as well. So we're going to the shooting, so hopefully I can get rid of the Valentines and then start closing out, hopefully. Okay, so I got a few hits on the mortars, no kills. Again, no more kills on the 25-pounders, they're sticking around. I got another kill on the Anzac team. I have killed the 2-pounder, the 7.62's missed everything, so at least he's last standing. And I got a few hits with the heavy scouts, but nothing, so now we're going into British turn 6.
Yeah, because I was actually going to attack then.
Yeah, okay, right, British motivation. 25-pounders yet again have not rallied, but we have Sandstorm again. Anzacs over here have rallied, but the Valentines, he's gone, so the HQ is gone as well. So Sandstorm up as well. It's going to be very hard to hit everything. So what is Richard going to do?
There's not much I can do now. I was going to do an attack with the
dig in.
Valentines.
Dig in. You've already ranged in artillery, so okay. So we'll do this dig in. And
I'll get. Oh yeah, I've got the card as a bloody sandstorm. Dig in those. No.
Stay gone around. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that's going to be your movement.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go into shooting, or as we call it, artillery phase.
Yeah.
Okay, so they were a couple of shootings. So the 3-inch mortars ranged in here. Richard played Signals Officer, which basically gives him +1 to range in. So luckily the night fighting was mitigated. Range in first attempt got 1 hit but no kills, and then the 25-pounders opened up direct on these poor infantry chaps, and basically ended up getting 1 hit but no kills. So that is it. So the Sandstorm is blazing up, and we go into German turn 7. So let's encroach a little bit more on these objectives, shall we? Okay, I have drawn my battle deck cards. It's okay. Sandstorm is still up, and these guys are still pinned, but they're pioneers, so they'll be able to dig in quite nicely. And that is it. So we are going to go into German movement. Okay, so I've encroached. I've encroached on the Anzacs and their HQ unit over here with the Panzer IIIs and the scout cars, and then 3rd platoon is going for the 8cm mortars. My gentlemen here have gone to ground. Well, they've gone to ground at the moment. They might fire, and they've dug in. So that is it for my movement. So it's time for shooting. Maybe I can pick some stuff off, but it's going to be very difficult now because not everything is fired for Richard. So a lot of things are invisible to me now. Well, potentially could be. I did fire these guys at the 25 pounders. They got 2 hits, but luckily Richard passed them because I thought I might as well try and whittle them down. My mortar is fired.
Yes.
He has fired. These guys tried to maybe even, it's a bit too even, I think, at the moment. So they fired, but they didn't get any kills. Got a few hits on the infantry over here, but no kills either. So we have assaults. So hopefully I can push these Anzacs back a bit and get into a good position for the infantry. So assault phase, let's see what happens. Over here, got rid of all the 3-inch mortars. One of them did surrender, killed the rest. Over here, I managed to kill the HQ and whittle down the Anzacs to just 4 teams, but I have lost the 3 Panzer IIIs because eventually I did roll 1s. So that is it. So now we're going to British turn 7.
Let's see.
Okay, so all British infantry have finally rallied, so 25 pounders are good to pound away now, and Kitty Hawks are coming in as well. So we have British movement to do, and they come in onto my exposed infantry. Make sure they're still in command of each other.
Okay.
Okay, and I hope these don't get knocked off the table at any point. So there we go, Kitty Hawks are coming in. Okay, so fortunate for me, no kills. 25 pounders did range in though on my infantry by here, but again unscathed, but down to major victory levels. Unfortunate. Tom's not going to be happy. So we're going into my turn 8. Okay, my movement. This infantry team have moved up. These guys are remaining here stationary. This infantry team is moving in, doing a follow me to assault the 25 pounders. Unfortunately failed a follow me with this infantry team, so they're going to just stay by here, and the 8 rads are going to stay where they are as well. So mortars are going to finally have to re-range in. It's going to be bang on the objective and enough to stay danger close. If I get anything, it'll be a miracle, but the 8 centimeters have done a good job so far. So we're going to shoot in and we'll see what we can do. There's a lot of firing happening, but unfortunately nothing is getting killed. So we're going to the assault step, and maybe I can get rid of these 25 pounders, but they're going to be a tough nut to crack. Didn't go so well. I lost one guy in the combat. I killed one 25 pounder, they counterattacked, hit me, and then I failed my counterattack. So it's unfortunate, but we're now going into British turn 8, and they will be last standing at least. British motivation, and Richard is now an experienced commander like me. The 25 pounder has rallied, so the pin marker goes, and he is past his last stand. So it's up to Richard now what the British are going to do. British movement, the Anzacs are moving in. 25 pounders just going to do his thing, and then the other Anzacs over here, the remaining British units, are going to remain stationary. So we have a shooting phase, which will be followed by an assault phase. I can't wait. So these guys got pinned because the 25 pounder was already ranged in here, so I lost my AT gun, and I have also lost one of these guys to rifle rounds. So the assault is looking a lot more doable now. Well, I could lose a platoon of infantry here if I'm not careful. So we're going into the assault phase because the Anzacs on the other side of the board, again, are just sitting on their asses doing nothing. So let's see what we're going to do. Okay, so the British won this assault because I pulled back. I lost another guy and he lost another infantry team. So one away from them doing last stands. So hopefully I can do that in German turn 9. Okay, so Richard just tried to play Disrupted Orders on me from his battle deck cards, which means I can't draw or play battle deck cards to the end of the round, but I had a Joker card, so I got that cancelled. So in my motivation phase, all my infantry teams have rallied, and luckily these are within 6 anyway, so I didn't need a last stand. Letters from Home is gone. That was what I played last turn to give him +1 to the motivation. So we are going into my movement while I try to close off this game. Okay, my movement. I've played Dysentery on this infantry team here, so they get -1 to their skill and motivation till the end of my next turn. So that will be handy since there is a platoon and a HQ coming in to assault them. Over here, 3rd platoon is going to assault the 25 pounders, and remnants of 1st is going to do the same onto these guys here. So hopefully I can kill all these people, and I can have a nice good report back to HQ. But Richard does have battle deck cards he hasn't played, so they will probably affect the end game. So we will see what happens in the shooting phase. Okay, so we have a ladybird making a streaking across the table. 25 pounder remains intact and unpinned. These guys have lost their infantry team, but remain unpinned. Oh no, they're good. And then these guys over here are pinned and have lost their mortar. So assaults are going to have to go in to clear away the British infantry. After a very brutal game, this infantry team have been wiped. I lost 1 guy going into the combat, and the 25 pounder is gone. So I'll check my rules that I've written, because these guys might have to surrender because they're so close. But we'll check, and then also the HQ units that drove away need to do motivation last stands to see if they decide to come back. Okay, so basically, because they weren't pinned, they don't surrender, so they run away. But they do need to do a last stand because they're in last stand phase and they failed. And of the 3 HQ tanks, 2 of them have come back to base. So basically, after this British force, 2 Valentine tanks have returned, and regiment is getting worried. So basically at the end of the game I was able to play 2 cards. So I've got captured plans. So basically when we reveal lists next round, one of the lists can be altered by up to 40 points because we've captured something over here. And also the British supplies have been interrupted, unfortunately, which means Lucas has to spend double the amount of points for reserve points next game, which is going to be very costly considering this. But I don't get as many reinforcement points because I'm on a major victory. But yes, luck was very much on my side here. Gotten a lot of good shots, but I've lost a lot of units. Well, I know Lucas will not be happy with you. But my commander, well, I've lost my Panzer IIIs and my Marders, which is the most expensive units I have, and only 4 Marders I have. So that's not looking good. Okay, so scores on the doors. It's a 7-2 victory, so that gives 30 reserve points to me and 15 reserve points to Richard. But it's going to cost a little bit more than 15 to replace this loss here. But Dave might get an interrupted supplies in his game against Sherry, so it could even things up. And also Dave could have a nice victory there as well. Okay, so we'll go over as well how the reinforcement pool and points look, because I don't think the mid-war forces will tolerate it. So returning back to base for the British, of course, is the 2 Valentine HQ tanks and the 2 Kitty Hawks. For the Axis, 2 of the Afrika rifle platoons are now below strength, so have to go to the reserve pool. But it does mean there are 4 MG34 teams, 2 HMG teams and 1 AT team, so they can merge. And then we have another platoon which is at 3 MG34 teams. The 7.62 anti-tank guns is down to 2 guns, so they can still be fielded. And luckily none of the command cards have been expended, so the Panzerknackers are still good. The Pioneer, the soft skin transport have not been used, or they're still standing, and diversionary tactics and whatnot is all good as well. So obviously the Germans can regroup from this. Losing the Marders and the Panzer IIIs though is a bit of a pain, but it is manageable, and obviously the two battle deck cards are very handy as well.
I did mention in the last few videos at the end of this battle report casualties and whatnot, but I thought it'd be better to visualize it and also visualize the state of the reinforcement pool points and battle card effects. So, gotta remember with the Germans, the captured plans means we can alter a list up by 40 points when all lists are revealed. The British have a similar one called Ultra, but unfortunately was not taken, and we see in the next slide the British have interrupted supplies, which means for the upcoming round of the reinforcement phase, they'll have to spend double the amount of reinforcement points. So we might have to just set it up and not spend anything and just rejig the formation. Should have enough to do 2 100-point lists for the next round, but we do have another game to play this round, so we could have interrupted supplies being put on the axis. So it's all in Sherry and Dave's corner now.